More often than not, when you think about the weather in Moscow, you think dreary. Cool and overcast in the summer, cold and snowy in the winter. What you don't usually think about is wind. But on May 29th, 2017, severe thunderstorms sweep over the Russian capital, sparking some of the most powerful winds in memory.
So this super strong thunderstorm is moving through Moscow, and it's ripping between these buildings.
So what we might be seeing here is a dry microburst. In other words, a downdraft, a strong wind that comes out of the thunderstorm without any rain.
You have a very dangerous situation with these big branches blowing through the air in this strong wind that's probably gusting up 50, 60 miles an hour.
Which makes you wonder why anyone would choose this moment to take a walk.
Oh my gosh. The tree is just falling over, and those are not twigs. That's a big branch.
Look at that massive tree. And that guy, you want to talk about the nick of time? They say when thunder roars, get indoors. Well, if the wind is roaring, you should get inside as well.
Unfortunately, on a day like this, inside isn't necessarily the safest place.
Bam! Wow! That thing just exploded.
Yeah, look at that. Holy cow.
You have winds that are gusty and sort of unpredictable, and you could find that right little spot, that little point of weakness.
I mean, that hole could have been maybe 2 or 3 inches wide, and once that wind gets in there, it's gone.
So exactly what kind of wind are we talking about here? It's known as straight line wind.
You can get some very strong winds that come down out of a thunderstorm. They hit and they spread out.
Sometimes they can be strong, sometimes they can be incredibly damaging, kind of like this.
How strong? Strong enough to deliver a startling surprise to this unsuspecting pedestrian.
Oh my gosh, you want to make sure you're kind of aware of your surroundings, because something like that could be heading your way.
It looks like a serious injury in the making, until our pedestrian emerges, miraculously unscathed.
But the most amazing thing about the clip is he just goes on like any other day at the office.
That guy was inches from being crushed. Just la-di-da, we'll walk away. What do you think's going through his head?
After a few seconds, the dumpster goes along on its merry way.
Those things aren't light, they're heavy. And yet, it looks like a toy when you have wind like this.
Which brings us to the case of this so-called healing pyramid, a spiritual center and tourist attraction on the outskirts of Moscow. Built of fiberglass panels in 1999, it is 144 feet high and weighs 55 tons.
You would think that a pyramid's pretty much of a proven structure, right? The shape should be able to withstand quite a bit.
During the storm, Slavic shamans are inside, holding a spiritual ceremony to honor their ancestors. Once the ceremony ends, the participants exit, seemingly oblivious to the gusting wind. What happens next? Think you know the answer?
That falls apart. What just happened to that structure?
The fact this structure is out in the middle of nowhere means that there's nothing around it to stop the wind.
This is just made of heavy cardboard, really. I mean, it's fiberglass panels. It's not that sturdy of a structure.
The storm results in 16 deaths and more than 200 injuries, making it the city's deadliest weather day in a century.